So here's what happened.
Go in. Go in.
Did it?
On April 9th, 2020, GM Golf uploaded a video titled Greatest Match in GM Golf History. In this video, Parker Pursell supposedly holed out for an Albatross. We're gonna show you the footage, we're gonna analyze this video in detail, and we are taking a closer look at whether or not this was actually an Albatross. I'm Dougie Barnard. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go ahead and smash that red subscribe button. And I hope you enjoy this one, because we're taking a close look at whether or not this shot is actually one of the greatest shots in the history of YouTube golf.
That might be the longest drive I've ever seen you hit.
That's a really good shot. That's a good one. That's really good, guys.
Struck well. Hit that heel and kick it up.
Oh. Oh.
Go in.
Go in.
Go
Go in.
I think it's in.
Okay, let's set the scene, let's set the stage. We are in Alabama at Pursell Farms, the beautiful Farm Links course, which I've had the chance to play. It's an amazing course, it's stunning, highly recommend making a trip there. We got a match, a scramble match with Garrett and Martin against Micah and Parker. We're on hole number 6, I believe. It's a par 5. It's the hole right after the par 3 that has the 200-foot drop. Okay, it's a very scoreable par 5. I played it even from the tips. It was about 530 yards if my memory serves me correctly. And if you pipe a good drive, you can catch a speed slot, and it's a very reachable hole, okay? So let's just jump into the action. They've already hit their tee shots, and now they're hitting their second shots. Again, it's a scramble format. They're hitting their second shots into the par 5. Let's jump into the clip.
Stay down.
The plan is to hit
2 feet.
That's really good, guys.
Struck well. Hit that heel and kick it up.
Oh. Oh.
Go in.
Go in. Go in.
It went in.
Did it?
I think it's in. I think it hit the metal, bro. I'm not kidding. I think it hit the metal. I think that went in, guys. I don't know.
I think we're gonna give it to him.
I'm not sure what that means.
Guys, it went in. We just reviewed the footage. They just made an that's the second Albatross we've witnessed.
In the last 3 weeks.
He's running to the next hole. He's out.
I don't even know if I want to hit this.
No, you shouldn't hit.
I'm literally not even gonna hit this because he just
Can I
literally
hit-
made
let me
double
hit
go. That's 3 under on a hole. That gets us literally back to, we get to 5 under.
Dad, we just caught our second Albatross on film, and I want you guys to know exactly why.
So here's what happened. The cups are upside down. The ball came in at perfect pace, and as you can see right here, the ball is below the lip, and it's on the front side of the cup. And it hit the metal and lipped out to the back edge of the cup. And we're gonna walk up to the green. I'm gonna show you guys where the ball is. Martin and I are giving the ruling that it's definitely in the hole.
So let's walk through this shot, right? He's got an 8-iron, hits it, lands it off the hill, it starts rolling towards the hole. First of all, right? Fortunately, Garrett was able to focus the camera because Parker's hands were raised. He was kind of calling that this might go in the hole. And that would have been such a bummer if the only camera angle that we had on the shot was blocked out by Parker's arm or his head or something. So fortunately, Garrett was able to focus the camera and give us a look at the ball, right? So the ball's rolling towards the hole, and then it slowed down, and it looked like it just barely missed the hole and stopped right beside the hole. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, like that was so close to going in. But immediately, Garrett says, I think that's in. That was in the hole. It lipped out from the front side, went to the back side. So automatically, it was kind of the default was that was in the hole. I mean, what are your reactions to seeing the highlights of that shot? When you first saw it, like, what are you thinking, right? When I first watched it, I wasn't sure what to think, but immediately everyone started saying that was in the hole. And so that kind of led me to think that it definitely went in the hole. But upon rewatching this several times back, I mean, I can't help but just start looking at whether or not it actually did what they said it did, because what Garrett is saying, and I'll run another clip in a second here to kind of further show you this explanation by Garrett, but he's saying that the ball rolled on the front edge of the lip, hit the metal from the upside down cup, and bounced out and lipped out to the back edge behind the hole, right? So that makes sense in theory, right? But if you're watching it, when the ball rolls like equidistant with the pin, if Garrett's explanation were true, the ball would be in front of the pin. Here's the pin, and they're saying, Garrett is saying, that the ball rolled in front of the pin and then bounced and lipped out to the back. But if that were the case, then you'd see the full ball in front of the pin. What do we see, or what do I see at least? When I see the replay, I see the ball disappearing behind the pin and then stopping back here. So I don't know exactly what happened. It's tough to tell. We only have one camera angle, but the narrative that they're giving, to me, it doesn't quite add up. It doesn't make sense. But I want to go ahead and run this next clip here so that you can see the full explanation from Garrett.
Literally cannot have a better comeback. After they just started getting some energy there, and then we just said, absolutely not, there's no way we're letting that happen.
I mean, I called my shot. What you hitting, Parker? 8-iron. How far? 166.
All right, guys, so this is what we're looking at here when we get it, after we get up here. We have not touched that ball yet.
Okay, I just touched the ball. Here's what happened. It lands right here. It's rolling down. It's rolling down, just like this, about on this line. And it comes into the front side of the hole, hits the metal, and bounces out to right there.
Exactly like that.
Literally just like that. I mean, it's tough to recreate it.
So,
that's an albatross.
I mean, you have
We
to say
have
this.
confirmed.
If you have your opponents confirming an albatross, I mean, you know that's got to be real. Hey, let's throw up them twos, baby.
So now that you've seen Garrett's explanation, what do you think? Do you believe it? Do you think that's a good explanation for what happened? Did it go in the hole and then bounce out because of the upside down cups? If it did go in the hole, did it go in the hole the way that Garrett explained? And that's where I just don't know what to think. I don't know where I stand, because I don't believe that the ball came in to the front edge of the hole. I don't think that happened based on what I'm seeing, how the pin was in front of the ball. So I believe that the ball came behind the pin. Now, whether or not it bounced off the metal and then stopped 3 inches behind the hole, or whether it just missed the hole, it's tough for me to tell from, you know, the single camera angle that we have. It's really, really tough for me to tell, but I don't know. You know, just one point that I wanted to raise, and again, I'm not sure that we will ever know whether or not this ball actually went in the hole. That's one of the unfortunate things, just given the timing of everything with the cups being upside down. You can very well have balls that would have gone in the hole that ended up not in the hole. You know, we might never know where the ball would have actually ended up had there been a normal cup in there. So that's just the situation. That's the reality of things right now. But first of all, like, an amazing shot. You know, whether or not it's an albatross in a scramble, or whether or not it's a 3-inch tap-in eagle. I mean, Parker hit absolutely ridiculous 8-iron there, but I think it's worth discussing just because an albatross is such a rare shot, and this was such an iconic moment there, that I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I don't want to take anything away from Parker. I'm just genuinely curious what your thoughts would be and whether or not you think this was an albatross based on, you know, the video and what we have. So another point that I wanted to just quickly raise is that everyone just jumped on to the idea that this was in the hole automatically.
It went in.
Did it?
I think it's in.
And if I'm a competitor, if I'm playing in a match, if I'm playing against someone and, you know, I do not want to lose. If something like this happened, you know, my first reaction would be like, are you sure it was in the hole? Are you sure that it went in and bounced out? Because I don't see the ball in the hole right now. My eyes are telling me the ball's not in the hole. And, you know, the default presumption from my point of view would be, you know, it missed the hole, unless you can maybe convince me that something else happened. And I think the video evidence is what they said they reviewed. one motivation that they have is just maybe that by deciding right away that it is an albatross, it just makes the video that much more epic. It just elevates this moment and this match to some of the highest levels of YouTube golf, you know, in recent memory. Because how often do you see an albatross, let alone a hole out eagle? But an albatross, that's just ridiculous. So for social media kind of reasons, it's in everyone's benefit there in the match for that to be decided that that's an albatross. I'm not saying that that's what they did, but I'm just pointing out that there's, you know, some incentive there for all of them to make that decision that it is an albatross. But it happened split second. If you watch it, it was an immediate thing. Like right when they saw it, you know, Garrett said, I think it's in, that ball was in. So that's another point that I want to raise here is just these guys saw this with their own eyes. We're from 185 yards out. Garrett's also zooming through the camera. So they're watching this live, and maybe that they saw something with their own eyes that we can't see with the video evidence that showed that the ball changed direction. Because when I watch the video, I can't tell whether the ball changed directions or not. I just don't know. It's tough for me to tell. Garrett said the ball changed directions, it changed its course.
There's no way we're letting that happen.
I mean, I called my shot.
And that had to have been from the upside down holes. Also, those guys had been playing out at Pursell Farms for, you know, a while. So they knew the cups, they knew that the ball could bounce off of the upside down cups. They had that local experience of what that looks like. So that's another factor, is that maybe they have that experience to know what it looks like when the ball bounces off the upside down cup and goes out of the hole. It's a different roll and it's a different speed. They might have seen that with their own eyes. Garrett might have seen that live, zooming into the camera, and maybe we're just not getting that in the video playback. So that's another factor there, is that maybe seeing that in the moment, it was more clear to those guys, hey, something didn't look right with that ball rolling toward the hole. It obviously changed directions, and it wasn't a lip out, it was a bounce out from the cup. So those are some of the points that I have here. Again, the verdict's not out. You know, I'm curious to hear what you think about this shot. Drop a comment down below. Was this an albatross? Based on the footage you saw, based on the points that I've raised, was this an albatross?
That means.
Guys, it went in. We just reviewed the footage. They just made an out. That's
the next question that I have for you is, let's assume that this was an albatross, okay? Parker holed out a 2 on a par 5. Where does that shot rank? All-time greatest golf shots on YouTube. I'm not talking about highlights of PGA Tour shots. I'm talking YouTube golf. Where does that moment rank if it's an albatross in the history of greatest shots on YouTube? Comment down below, let me know, are there other shots that you would put above that, or where does that shot rank? And again, I'm Dougie. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis, just looking at a very, very big moment, right? This was not a hole out for par. This was a hole out for albatross. And so that's why we, you know, took a deep dive. It wasn't clear from the camera angle. I mean, if the pins didn't have the upside down cups in them, there wouldn't be a debate. It's either in the hole or it's not in the hole. But because of that, that's another X factor. And I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. Would love to know, again, your thoughts on what happened, whether it's an albatross, whether it's not. And I'm thinking about maybe making a future video just counting down the greatest shots in the history of YouTube golf. So if there's some other shots that, you know, you've seen that were as good as this, close to as good as this, you know, maybe even not quite as good as an albatross, but a hole out from the fairway or something, let me know. I want to check out some of the best shots on YouTube, maybe make a video about that. So comment down below some of the best shots that you've seen from YouTube golfers. Thanks so much for watching. Again, highly recommend Pursell Farms, but having rewatched the shot, it just brings back the memories. That's the 6th hole. I love that course. It's amazing. It's in Alabama. Highly recommend if you can ever make a trip down there. It's worth it. I mean, the course is just absolutely stunning. And I had the chance to make a couple course vlogs from that video, and watching Garrett and all the guys down there make videos for a month or so, or put out a month's worth of content, makes me want to get my butt back to Pursell Farms, back to Farm Links, because that course is just mega pure. But Dougie here, signing off. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.